Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, everybody? What's the deal? How's everybody feeling this morning? I say this morning because it's 6 a.m., bright and early, California time. I'm sure it's not morning for everyone, but it's in morning for me. Hey, yo, what's going on? Um, if this is morning for you still at work, yeah, what's up, man? Um, this is in case this is you guys' first time hanging out with me here on Pixelogic stream. This is a character I've been working on for I'd say maybe I'm about 40 hours in, maybe 35 to 40 hours in. I'm getting towards the end of the initial block out phase. 4 p.m. Oh man, yeah. It's definitely not 4 p.m. here. What's up, Blans? Um, so this is getting close to the end of blockout and secondary forms phase. Probably just about ready to start cleaning up and getting ready for tertiary details. What's up, JK? Let's talk about the concept really quickly. This is a concept from Adrian Wilkins in collaboration with Tim Lochner and Andrejs Skuja. They did some amazing concepts for Horizon Zero Dawn, and I figured what better way to practice my character modeling and pipeline skills than working from an art director and art approved amazing concept. So that's what I'm doing. Really just kind of a personal piece. So it's a test to see how where my skills are based on AAA quality pipelines. So that's what I'm working on. This dude, this guy. Uh, so where we're at now. Thanks, Uber. Uber bar. Um, so I've basically got to a point where I'm I'm fairly happy with the first and secondary forms. Probably just gonna tighten up some areas. Like I need to like tighten up this area. Probably change up the belts on this side. If we look at the concept, like it's a little bit different on this side. Um, thanks, Juggalo. I think first and foremost, I'm going to work on the pattern here. So I'm going to show you guys how I would approach making this pattern. Um, I really need to do this little belt system here. I'm really not looking forward to it, so I've been trying to put that off for a while. So we may tackle that. Um, um, do, 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 do. There's just some belt stuff down here, and I think just some overall finishing up secondary forms. Just kind of need to beat up this strap a little bit and get some integration stuff in there. Um, but yeah, it's kind of getting towards the end of this phase, so it's some of the stuff can get a little bit tedious for all the little nooks and crannies and making sure everything's all nice and ready for final surface stuff. So for my pipeline for this dude is I'm going to be doing the full sculpt, the full high-res sculpt in ZBrush here. And everything I've done here has just been in ZBrush. Um, from there, on my own personal channel, because I want to keep ZBrush stuff on a ZBrush stream, once I'm done with this phase, I will take him into retopo, DUV. I'm going to do it in Modo 10.2, maybe 11. Modo Indie 11. I have to upgrade, but I'm on 10.2 right now. So I'm going to do retopo, UV in Modo, and then I'm going to do all of my baking in Marmoset Toolbag 3, and then I'm going to take him into Substance Painter and do all the textures and stuff in Substance Painter. The reason why I say that is because at this point in the sculpt for high res characters, at least for my own particular pipeline, there's become this very fine balance between what do you sculpt in at the high res phase and where do you stop sculpting and rely on the actual material that I'm going to use in Substance Painter. So it's relatively new issue, but there's a fine balance between what am I going to sculpt in and what am I actually going to rely on the actual material for. As of right now, I don't plan to do a bunch of crazy like cracks and everything in this hard leather, because I think I want to be able to rely on the actual material. But I want to be able to like really have some nice forms and stuff in here in the borders and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm sitting, and that's the type of mind frame of like how much of the tertiary detail I plan on sculpting, and how much I plan on relying on the actual texture material. Have I tried 3D coat for hard surface stuff? I have not tried 3D coat. 3D coat. 3D coat is awesome, cool, good stuff, but all of my sculpting stuff I do in ZBrush. I'm much more comfortable. I feel it's a much better program for high-res sculpting, the stuff that I do. And with 4R8's new Boolean system with ZModeler, I have everything I need here. Especially if I really need to, I can always go into Modo and do some poly modeling and stuff. So personally, I don't really have any room in my pipeline for 3D code, but I heard it's awesome. I've seen people use it. I ain't got no hate. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of. I don't really have a exact plan for what I'm planning on. Oh yeah, I was gonna do this front piece. All right. How would I approach doing this? Let's take a look at the pattern a little bit closer. So this is probably going to be a nice beat up piece of metal. It's not going to be nice and pristine. It looks like maybe this was something that these guys did on their own, because it looks like different tech than what these pieces look like. But either way, it's going to be nice and beat up, so I'm not worried about like super perfect edges, right? I'm not worried about like getting everything super pristine. So probably the way that I would approach this is just using masking, and then using deformation inflate. That's probably the quickest way to do it. Let's see. Grab this guy back over here. So I'm going to try that. The other really cool thing that I came across just playing around the other day, Let's grab this guy. Alright, so this guy has subdivision levels. He's got really nice base topology, fairly even. We may run into some small little issues in like this area or this area. So it's something I want to kind of look out for. I don't think I'm going to run into too much. I can also just do like a little test here. My internet has been actually a little bit spotty lately, so let me know, guys, if things start acting a little haywire on the stream side. It looks like I'm dropping a couple of frames, but should be okay. Let me just pause that. Let's kill that. Yeah, it looks like there's a couple of frames dropping, but go ahead and just let me know if things get too crazy. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rolling. Okay. So I'm going to do just a quick little test just to see if there's any kind of super weird. No, that looks okay. Stream's cutting in and out for me, but it's okay for you. Alright. I think, yeah, I'll just keep a close eye on it. Apologize, guys, if it's buffering for you. Okay, so it looks like this is going to be alright. We're looking at probably 2.9 mil. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Alright, so probably what I'm just going to do is use mask circle. Looks like we got green now. I think it was maybe that box. My box account in the background likes to sync stuff. Alright, so let's just see if we can get this rolling here. Now this may take some trial and error and some redos, but I think it'll be worth it in the end here. Looks pretty tight. And then let's take this over to mask rectangle. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and just do this across the board here. So this is just going to be a test, just to see real quick if this is going to look good or not, if it's going to work. So we'll just do that, and then we'll go back to mask circle again, and then now we'll just do this guy again here. Ah, wrong one. Son of a... Okay, so we got that piece now. Maybe we'll do one little blur. Let's go to deformation. Just see what this is going to look like here. Maybe we'll do inflate 1. Let's turn the mask off for a second just to see what that's, if that's going to be enough. May need to be a little bit more. So maybe we'll do inflate of 2. Turn the mask off. Yeah, that might be better. Yo, the Bubs, what's up, man? Yeah, this is going to be specifically for a portfolio piece. Think that should work. So I'm gonna probably need to blur it twice. So let's blur it one more time. Take an inflate of 2. And then maybe we'll do like a polish. Let's try a polish. Alright, that'll kind of round those front edges a little bit. Let's turn that off. What I'm looking at right now is like this little stepping that I definitely don't want to have to go in and clean it up too much by hand. Yo, what's up, Monster Truck Tim? Sada. 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 So, I don't want to take it up to, 6 million or whatever to get those edges. I think maybe what I'll have to do is just go in and maybe beat this up a little bit. So like if I come in, let's clear the mask real quick. Maybe bring this down to 3. Because I still want it to have a nice organic feel. So maybe if I just do a quick, that might feel good. Just do a quick smooth come through here. Yeah, I could create a poly group from the mask. The other one that I was going to do was there's a really cool. Let's see, it's in Geo Edge Loop. I think it's Group Loops, I think is what it was. No, it was Edge Loop from Mask Border. This is actually a really cool way to do it as well. Yeah, that may work. Let's go back. So another cool way to do it would be to come in here and do edge loop masked border. Can't do it with multiple subdivision levels. Got it. Some of the ways that I get around that is either you can do freeze subdivision levels. I don't like doing that because with like high topology, it tends to get a little boggy when you're trying to unfreeze those. So I usually just do a quick duplicate, and then I'll just delete the lower, and then I can just reproject on this on the other one with the subdivision levels. So let's clear the mask on this guy. Let's do that again real quick. Okay, we'll grab this one. Yep. There's all kinds of crazy creative ways to to get around things. ZBrush, it's awesome. It always feels so good, you know, like when you figure out a way around something, you're like, yes, I win, ZBrush, I win. So let's try this one to see just if that's gonna work or not. So geo edge loop. Right, now we got this edge loop, but it's a little, that's not gonna work. Because then technically what you could do is just do an extrude. But yeah, you could do polish as well. You could even do an extract, and then just do it that way, and just kind of. I mean, there's about 100 different ways to do it. I think what I'm gonna do is just do the inflate. I think that's probably going to be the quickest way for me. Let's just do that. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Let's turn that one off. Let's turn this guy back on. Okay, so we got that one. Let's do... Actually, before I do this guy, let's just delete that guy. We don't need him anymore. That's fine. Grab this dude. That's all good, man. All good. So we'll take this guy, we'll duplicate him out. Usually before I start doing any of this stuff, instead of using layers, I'll just duplicate it out real quick. Turn it off. Set it down to this low subdivision level. That way I can always get back to the original one. Or if I need to append it later on, I can do that as well. Okay, so let's go down, let's do deformation. Let's do a quick inflate of 2. You know what? We're going to blur this twice. Inflate 2. Polish by 1. Cool. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, let's clear that mask. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one, and then I'll just unmask this little piece and unmask this little piece. And then I'll be able to go and do the same thing I did with this outer one for this one, and then just unmask and mask this little spot. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way to do it. This is ZBrush Pancake. Or what program is this that I'm using? For my reference, I use Quadro. It's the same one that Mike Pavlovich and his buddy actually made it. Really awesome program. It's called Quadro. Kuadro. Really awesome little program. Highly suggest using it, giving it a try. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do is, let's actually turn on symmetry. Not in Y, we want that in X. There we go. Nice pancake. So, you mean GIMP files? Alright, so we're going to mask this out. We'll get this, yeah, let's see, something like that. Okay. And then we're going to do similar one. I remember GIMP. I gave GIMP a try for a while. I didn't really feel like buying Photoshop at the time. It was decent. Maybe a little bit thinner. Okay, so we got that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmask here. Okay, that'll get me those pieces. Okay. And then I think what I'm going to do is maybe we'll use the circle mask. And I think we can just go... No, that's not how I wanted to do. Hey, you know what? I think we could just... Let's just draw it on. That may not work. Okay, let's see. Maybe we'll just try the pen here. Yeah, I know, right? The other thing I can do is I can actually use lazy mouse on my mask, which is pretty cool. That actually may work. Alright, and then maybe we'll take this, let's go use the lasso, and then we'll just unmask this part. That may work. I can always shift things around a little bit afterwards, right? Like, there's no reason why I can't, like, go down in a couple of subdivision levels and, like, actually just move these little pieces. So I don't have to, like, I don't have to get things exactly. I'm not really too worried about it. Again, it's going to be a little bit more organic style, so not worried about it being too crazy perfect. I'm going to go back to the mask pen. Actually, what I want to do is let's take this into Z, which should give me... Nope. Y? There we go. That'll give me up and down. So I only have to do it once. You know what? I can do it in the Z and the X as well. I'm gonna try the Z and or the X and the Y. So now I'll have to do half an arc. Yeah. Hey, why did that happen? It's not symmetrical, that's why. It's got a tilt to it. That's right. That's okay. I'll just do it again. Let's turn off Y. That's fine. I thought I won. Sometimes ZBrush actually wins. Yeah, you can use radial as well. There's tons of different ways you can do it. Alright, let's go back to my mask pen. Grab that. The other thing I really want to be careful with is making sure that this doesn't happen. So, it's basically because I didn't have back face mask on. So what I can do is I can go into my brush, into my mask, and then just turn on back face mask. Back face mask is in brush palette, auto masking, back face mask. In case you were interested. So now that I turn on my mask, pen, alright, I can have that. Okay, cool. Let's turn off lazy mouse. Let's turn off lazy mouse. Now this should not affect the other side. Doom. Good to go. Okay, cool. If you were to completely disregard the fact that this character is being made for production pipeline, how long would it take you to speed sculpt this character? It'd still probably take a while. There's a lot of different elements to this guy. If you weren't doing it for production, you would spend more time doing all the fine little details. So it wouldn't be a direct 1-to-1 ratio, I don't think. Because I'm going to be doing a lot of the small little, like the leather work and all the cracks and crevices and all that stuff, I'm going to be using the material for that. I would spend less time sculpting when I'm doing the full pipeline. But if it was just a high-res character, and it needed to have all the bells and whistles in the high poly, it would take me longer to do the high poly. So right now I've done this guy in I'm about 35 to 40 hours in at this point. Alright, so I'm going to blur the mask once and then sharpen the mask. So what I'm doing is I'm looking to kind of make all these edges a little bit more uniform. So you can do that real quick with just by doing a blur, then doing a sharpen, maybe one more sharpen. So we'll do 2 blurs. Okay, and then we're going to do inflate 2. I don't think I need to do a polish on these guys. Let's turn the mask off. I'm going to need to actually redo. I'm going to have to redo it. I think kind of what's messing me up is the fact that it's tilted. Because you can see this piece down here is smaller than this piece here. Like if you look at it this way, it looks okay. But if you look at it from straight on, then that's kind of weird, huh? No, yeah, like if you see me working, like hardly ever go into my subtool palette. Like I hardly ever go in here. I can just quickly move through all the different pieces. I'm not really worried about how they're all set up. Like you see, look, have 86 subtools. Like um, yeah, so I'm not too worried about the number of subtools and stuff. So um, it definitely takes a lot longer with the full pipeline. A lot longer. You're probably looking at the high res sculpt is usually around, I don't know, a third of the time, maybe a quarter, somewhere around there of the full production pipeline time. Rip, we're still up. Okay. So before we do this, let's go in and do these quick designs. Yeah, I can tell my proportions are already off. So I'm going to kill that. Let's try it one more time here. Alright. So, when you get to this point of production, a lot of these things can take plenty of time to do. So if you end up spending, like an hour or half hour trying to do something like this, it's not too crazy out of the norm. So maybe we'll do I'm gonna do these guys a little bit skinnier. Something like that. How do you navigate through the subtool panel without going to the subtool panel? If I need to work on this one, I'll just basically just alt click, right? I just move around in the actual view plane. Can layer work on rotation? Yes. Let's actually try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. It's good. I haven't used. It should work. So we'll do this. We'll say rotate. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this is at the center of masked. Actually, I'm going to turn off symmetry first, so that when I go back and do it again, it'll be from the exact same spot, just to make sure. So we're going to rotate. Alright, add a new layer. We'll say design. Okay, so then let's say we do this, we do this, we do this. Let's go inflate of 2. Actually, you know what? Let's blur the mask twice. Come in here, inflate of 2, polish of 1. Okay. So we got that. Now what we can do is turn off this rotate. Yeah, look at that. Ha 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 ha. Good call, man. How do I navigate through subtools? I just alt click on the subtool that I want. So if I want this one, you do that. If I just alt click on this one, I want to do that. Alt click those guys. That's that's 95% of my subtool navigation is just doing alt click. So yes, layers will work. That's awesome. Let's do that. That's awesome. It's a nice little trick. Nice! Alright, so let's do this. Yes, that's fine. Oh yeah, man, that's like key. That's like super, super key. Yeah, like I hardly, like, I very, very rarely go into my subtool palette. Which is when you're looking through, you're sifting through 86 different subtools, like, that's hell. You don't want to do that. Alright, so now what I can do is I can turn on Y as well. Okay. Yeah, that Z scene manager, it's a little, I don't know. All right, so let's pull the mask here. And then we'll do minus. Okay, that'll get us that. Haha. Well, no, that's not going to work either. Okay. Alright, we'll just do quick. Go back to that curve pen. Let's do mask pen. Let's turn on my lazy mouse again. It's going to have a little bit more roundness to it. Let's try doing this. Think even more. So what I'm looking at is this roundness. It's fairly... This is fairly roundy, if I may. Let's just see what that looks like without this little piece here. Again, I can go and adjust this afterwards, so I'm not too worried about making it exactly perfect because I can go back. So let's just keep rolling here. Cool, that'll do it. Alright, let's go back to Mark Lasso. Done. Let's just make sure I clean up any of this extra little stuff here. Again, I want to make sure that I get rid of this stuff. So let's make sure my back face mask is on. Actually, you know what, let's go back to the pen. That side's okay. Okay, so we got that little piece. Now, let's grab these little guys. Maybe turn lazy mouse back on here. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and do the same one to this guy. Yo, what's up, Clay Bear? How you doing, man? Alright, I think this will work fine for now. So let's switch this out. Actually, maybe what we'll do is let's turn lazy mouse back off and let's just clean this little guy real quick. Okay. So let's do deformation. We're gonna blur this guy twice. Twice may not work on this one, but we'll see. Inflate by 2. Polish by 1. Let's turn the mask off and let's get a little bit of a visual here. Yeah. Okay. That should work okay. But what I want to do first is I want to change up the diameter a little bit. To feel like we've got a little bit more thickness here than like down here. And I think that'll help vary it up a little bit. Yo, Bluxby, what's up, buddy? Yeah, it has been a while, man. It's been a while, buddy. Maybe we'll just chunk this down a little bit. How you been, Bluxby? Thanks, Clay. Appreciate it, buddy. Are you trying to upgrade? Okay, I think that makes it a little bit better. And then we'll go ahead and do these little pieces here. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this by masking is just got some of these like little organic shapes. I feel like your process should try to reflect the way, like how organic or how like machined something is. Right, the more stuff you can do by hand, the more organic it feels, you know what I mean? So one of the reasons why I decided I can just do it by mask is it adds this nice little by hand feeling to it, which is nice. Try that again. Lost a sheet drive. Aww. That always sucks, man. Don't forget to save your files, guys. Okay. So let's do a quick blur mask, a quick sharpen. I think that'll work. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. We'll do inflate by 2, polish by 1, polish by 1. Yeah, I think we're getting somewhere here. So let's turn everything back on here. Now we go back into layers really quick just to check. We'll hit to turn off rotate. Look at that. That's beautiful. How do you go about modeling hair for production? I think it really depends on what your final output's going to be. So if it's in game, you're probably going to end up just doing hair cards. Oh, excuse me, I haven't had my coffee yet this morning, guys. So if you're going to be doing games, you're probably going to end up doing hair cards. If I'm doing hair cards, usually what I'll do is I'll make the base shape for the hair first, and then use that to... there's all kinds of different ways to do cards, but I typically will, especially if there's a specific shape to the hair. By the way, this guy doesn't have any back of the hair. Just noticed that. I would make the basic shape of the hair, and then I would use retopology and use that form to create some of my form-defining cards, and then just kind of go from there. Just do your process that way, and then just kind of build it up and everything. It's a really long and tedious process. Okay. Yep, that's got it. Let's turn rotate back on. Okay, let's go back into design, and then we'll do these little circle pieces real quick. So basically, you're gonna do it the same way as I did these ones out here. Okay, so when we're gonna grab make perfect circle. Oh shit, where was that? Language. Perfect circle may work, may not work. That should be alright. Okay, so I didn't actually realize there was a make perfect circle mask in there. Man, that would have saved me. So let's clear the mask first. Let's try this again. Actually, Naughty Dog, I believe they did a whole presentation on, or at least a small presentation on hair. I'm not the most foregoing expert on hair, so I probably wouldn't be good for advice on that. Alright, so do that. And then the thickness is going to be somewhere around the same. Good. Okay, cool. And then we'll go into mask rectangle. Like that. that. Okay, cool. Got that one. Okay, I'm going to turn my symmetry on again, and then we'll go back to perfect circle. So we'll do a negative one first, and then a positive one. Look at that. Boom. All snaps. Alright, so we'll do that. Let's blur this, I think is twice is what we were using. Let's go into deformation. Let's do wait a minute. Ha 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 ha. Let's go back into mask pen. Back face mask is on. Oops. Let's do that first. Okay. Alright, so let's go into inflate. We'll do that by 2. We'll do polish by 1. Let's turn the mask layer off. I think we're good. That's pretty close. Let's go into layers, turn off rotate. I feel pretty good about that. I think we can work with it. I think we can work with that. Right? And probably what I would do is before... actually, I could just leave that as is. Well... yeah, let's leave it as is. We'll leave it with layers. Cool. Not load. Let's do save real quick. Let's save this guy out. Would you recommending using insert mesh brushes for hair cards? You could do that. You can even go as far as making an insert mesh brush and then using like the curve function, doing it that way. There's all kinds of different ways of doing it. Actually, Paul Gabery, I think it was him, he showed a way of doing it with fiber mesh, actually. That was pretty cool. If you go back, let's see, when did he do that? I just look through Pixelogic's YouTube cache of old videos, and look for his fiber mesh stream. He actually went through some of that, which was really, really cool. It's a little bit much for me to go through right now, but there's ways to do it with fiber mesh as well, where like each one of your fibers could be a hair card, just by changing the overall shape and length and, you know, pinch and everything. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these dudes, and then I'm just going to, let's hide these guys for now. Go back to this guy, and then I'm just going to dupe him. Paul Gabery. G-A-B... or Y. O-U-R-Y, I think. He's like, him and Joseph Dress are like the main ZBrush guys. Pixelogic. Alright. So let's duplicate this guy. For these duplications, I don't need the layers at all. So I'm going to just bake all. Okay. I'm going to grab these dudes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw everything to the top. If you hold shift and hit move up, it'll throw everything either up to the top, or if we hold shift and hit the down, it'll shift everything to shift that all the way to the bottom of the stack. So what I'll usually do is duplicate something, throw it up to the top, grab this guy, duplicate, throw it up to the top, grab this guy, duplicate, throw it up to the top. And then what I'll do is I'll just merge these ones down. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so these are all different poly groups, so I can split those off again if I need to, no big deal. This guy has subdivision levels, so I don't want to join them. That makes sense. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use the move, and then I'm going to use multiple subtools. So I'm on him. What I want to do is grab him as well. So you see this like nice, really awesome ghosting thing that's happening now? I can get rid of that guy and get rid of those guys. I can get rid of this guy. So now I can move multiple subdivision tools, which is awesome. So you use that just using your select lasso. So like if I want to bring something back into this move group, I can just bring this guy back in, right? Or I can hide him again. Dope. So now I can move these two separate like this. And can actually scale them together too, which is awesome. Thank you, ZBrush. You freaking rock. So let's get that about into place. Let's go maybe a little bit smaller. Grab him. Let's see, is that gonna be a good size? I know, right? This whole interface is a little bit trippy. Maybe a touch smaller. Alright, so now what I can do is I can just come back in here, turn that off. Wait a minute, now how the fuck do I get that off? Pardon my language, sorry guys. Okay, there we go. So I think that will work. So now what I can do is just grab this dude. We'll go... I don't think I need the subdivision layers on this guy anymore. So we'll go ahead and just do delete lower because I want to do mirror and weld. Mesh that has layers. It shouldn't have layers. He's not an ogre. Wait a minute. Pretty sure I duplicated that guy, didn't I? That's that guy. Uh-oh. Where's this guy? I think I moved them both. Fudge. I did. Let's just put him back there. If right, I was just thinking of that too. But ogres have layers. Okay, and then this one. Totally did the wrong one. Okay. So let's do this. Take this guy, we'll throw him to the top. This is the one that has the layers that I don't want to be up there. So I'm just going to throw him back down here real quick. Let's turn him off. Right, he's the one with the layers, correct? Yes. Let's move to a different subtool, that's fine. Let's move back to this guy, which is not that guy, because he's off. Alright, now I can move it again. That was a little bit scary for a second, guys. A little scary. A little scary. Actually, you know what? I think I can move him. Haha! There we go. Now I think I can move this dude, turn this one back on. Yes. So did you guys see what I did there? Each one of these subtools retains its own separate history. So all I had to do was go back through all three of them to when it was still here, turn the other one off, and then because each one of these guys had their own history, I was able to go back forward through history to where it was moved. Yes. Okay. This guy has all the subdivisions. That's good. He's got the layers. Okay, cool. This guy here, no layers. That's fine. I also don't need the higher res, so I can delete the lower. Now I can mirror and weld. Let's do that. Not local symmetry, though. Boom. There we go. Good, 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 good. So to grab these guys, and then we'll mirror and weld those ones as well. Okay. Cool. Save. Save it! Alright. So that's good. I'm happy with that. Next, I think we're going to work on... Come on. Okay. I needed to change up this guy real quick. If we look at here, there's a very distinct difference between these belt loops, which is going to be okay. And because, so right now these two belts are symmetrical, I usually won't leave things, especially for a high-res character, I won't let them have, like, if you can see both of the items at the same time, I want to make sure that they aren't symmetrical, and B, they don't have the same UV space. I want them to have different textures. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm okay moving them, is I'm not worried about like the further on down pipeline for like retopology and UV sets and all that stuff, because you're going to be able to see both of these at the same time. I really don't want them to have the same textures, right? So they won't be overlapping, or using the same UV space. So with that, I'm okay, kind of just moving things around a little bit. Usually what I'll do though is before I do that, I'll just duplicate it real quick. Turn the old guy off, grab him, throw him all the way down to the bottom. Okay. So we'll just kind of, I'm using move topological, because I want to be able to move this, even though it's still connected, if it's not close to the same geo, you can actually move them separately. I'm just going to add a little bit of movement here. I think even a little bit more. Then instead of trying to move all of this back up, probably what I'll do is I'll just cut off a couple of these pieces. Maybe quicker to just do it that way. And again, the reason why I'm doing it by hand, I'm okay doing it kind of willy-nilly here, is because I'm gonna end up like really beating up some of these edges anyways. So by going in and moving things by hand, just by the process of how you do things, it lends to the type of piece it is. Like if it's more organic, I really am okay with going in and moving things by hand. Just really helps out those kind of like micro details. And again, when I'm moving topology around like this, I always try to do like little more micro movements like this instead of like doing, oh, I'm going to move all this stuff up here, because you can get into trouble real quick when you're doing that. So anytime I'm moving like topology around, I always kind of try to do little micro movements. It just helps keep the overall consistency of the topology. I do want to keep the edge thickness a little bit consistent. I don't want that to get all crazy, because the thickness of the belt won't move around a whole lot. Right, this is fine up here because you're not going to see this side and this side exactly at the same time. Alright, so let's go on my ZModeler brush real quick. I'm going to do delete. And I'm going to do delete edge loop. We'll take those like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete these guys. So we'll do delete single poly. I'm just going to delete these guys real quick. Like that, that's fine. And then we'll hide all of that stuff. And then we'll just bridge these real quick. So we'll do bridge. Grab that guy down to there. Man, come on. Of course you don't want to do it. Why would you? Oh, that's why. I had everything else hidden. That's why it was not showing. Grab that guy down to there. This guy down to there. This guy down to there. Cool. Now it looks like it pulled up through there. Sometimes it's just, for me, it's just quicker to do it that way. And then what I'll do is I'll hide that guy, we'll hide that guy, we'll switch those, and then we'll do group visible. There we go. Now it's all one subtool again, or one polygroup. Now I can go back into my move, and then we'll just move this around a little. All right. Cool. Now it looks like it's pulling up through there. Nice. Okie dokie, what's next? Oh yeah, I needed to put some hair on the back of his head. So, usually what I'm doing is just blocking out hair. I'll just insert, let's save this first. I'll just append in like a sphere or something, and then just dynamesh it and move it around, sculpt it into place. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna need some coffee after this, guys. Oh, wake up. Alright. Usually I'll just go into append real quick. Just grab a sphere. There we go. Grab that up there. Just do a quick dynamesh on it. That should be fine. Grab that dude. Bring him over there. Just about in the right place. Doesn't really matter too much. Yo, what's up, Reclusive? Yes, I will be. But I am going to end up doing that on my own stream, on my personal stream. I'm going to keep... Aaron, well, yeah, there we go. I'm going to keep the Pixelogic stream mostly to just Pixelogic stuff. So, for these streams, I'm actually almost done with this guy. Getting close. But yes, on my own streams, I'll be doing the retopology in Modo. Gonna do UVs in Modo, and then I'll do my baking in Marmoset Toolbag 3, and then material in Substance Painter. Yeah, man, it'll be fun. It will be fun. That's one thing that, well, one of the many things. Yeah, I bake in Toolbag 3. The bakers in Toolbag 3 are just freaking amazing. Amazing. I used to do all my baking in Substance as well. But then I saw the baking in Marmoset Toolbag, and I was like, yes. Nothing too special back here. I'm just gonna kind of add just a little bit of form. Nothing crazy. Personal Twitch channel will be right here on the bottom. Right. Oh, my camera's weird. There. It's twitch.tv, Brendon Isaiah Bengtson. I suggest trying to copy paste it, because spelling it can be a little tedious. Oh. Damn it! What's up, buddy? Yes, that's it, Blexby. Thanks, buddy. That would be it. So yeah, I'm gonna once I'm done getting this guy close to finished for the high res sculpt, I'm gonna start doing that on my personal stream. I'm actually working on this guy on my personal stream when I'm not on Pixelogic as well too. So if you guys want to hang out, do some more stuff, feel free to give him a follow. Also, don't forget to follow the Pixelogic channel here on Twitch. Awesome, amazing artists on here. I think we got Timothy Rapp coming up later today, I think. He does iterative game art as well. But he works on his own actual game in called Disc Jam that is available on Steam. And he does all of his stuff. I think they do it in Unreal Engine. I could be wrong. But he works on like actual game assets for their game that they have out called Disc Jam. Okay. I think that's fine for now. When you finish the retop, will the model be one mesh? I don't know yet. Probably not. Probably not. You got to think about like skinning and rigging and all that kind of stuff. Like, what's the animation going to be? You know, are these pieces going to move separately from his legs? Are they going to always move together? You know, there's all kinds of things to consider. But that will be considered when I actually do the mesh, when I do the retopology. Okay, so that looks alright. We'll just go with that for hair for now. Bring this in a little bit more. Grab this guy. Have that go around. I still haven't fleshed out all these forms yet either, so I'm kind of debating whether or not to do that in Marvelous Designer. I think it'd be kind of a pain to do it in Marvelous. Let's see if we can maybe get this stuff a little bit better. I'm just seeing if we can get these little pieces a little bit easier. Do a little knot work. That's why, I mean, when you start doing like these high res, pretty involved characters, you can really, really quickly spend a lot of time on these people, on these dudes and dudettes. I didn't really realize exactly how long it took to do a full high-res character until I really started doing them myself. Lots of time. Lots of time. Oh yeah, what's up, Vertigo? How you doing, man? Thanks, dude. Reclusive, how many hours would you estimate for which process? How far I'm in now? For the full Mamma Jamma? All of it. So typically when I try to estimate the full time is around about a month of work full time. So you break it out into quarters, right? So it'd be 40 hours for each quarter. So I would say if I was working on this guy in studio, I probably would be about here within the first week. Maybe a little bit further. About a week. So 40 hours, something like that. Yeah, somewhere. I mean, it really, really, really depends. It's all super, super flexible. But I would say on average, the full character should take about a month of full-time work. 40 hours a week. Um, it takes it takes a lot of work, man. It's crazy. Um, but it all depends on how fast you are, how complicated the character is. You know, are there going to be a lot of different iteratives on the design? Is it nailed down? Um, you know, what's the rigging process going to look like if it needs to get rigged right away or whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff to still consider. So, um, but around a month's worth of work, I would say. That's why it's like when you're as a character artist when you're working on personal work, um, you got to be really selective with the projects that you take on because it's shit ton of work, man. Shit ton of work. Can you give me a ballpark of what a 3D professional modeler can make per year working for a studio? Mm, it depends on where you live too. Um, if you're living in the California Bay Area, it's going to be much different than if you're living in Podunk, Illinois. You know, um, it can be very very different. Also different on the project. Different on experience. All that. I honestly, guys, I would look at Glassdoor, that website. You can get some good ideas for like specific areas, specific companies, that kind of stuff. Um, I usually when people ask me, you know, how much do people make? Because it depends so much. I mean, I've been in the same place too, and we're like, dude, just give me a ballpark, man. I just want to know. I know it's like weird to talk about all that stuff and what, but frick, dude, I just want to know. Um, you can make you can make a decent living. Let's put it that way. Wherever you're at, you can make a pretty decent living. You're not going to be driving Ferraris, but um, you should do okay. It is because it is a highly skilled. Um, it's a highly skilled job. And all the factors. Yeah, and those are the types of things too that you really need to consider when you're doing freelance. Um, any freelance work is you really got to be careful about cost of living and lack of insurance and all that fun jazz. Yeah, not gonna be. Well, I mean, there are people in this industry that make a good amount of money, um, but that's kind of upper echelon stuff. It is possible to make a good amount of money, but I think that's with any highly skilled industry, um, whether it's based on availability or um, making a name for yourself. It really all depends. I would say um, I always kind of default back to what Anthony Jones kind of preaches, which is uh, um, I don't think that you should charge under $30 an hour. Getting to the point where I think that's a good start, and I honestly think that you shouldn't really go under that. Dude, you busted Uni out of lurk mode for that one. That was awesome. Um, it depends on the company. It depends on what part of modeling are you doing? Are you doing scan tech? Are you doing um, you know high res face stuff? Are you doing full body? Are you doing all kinds of crazy? There's a lot of factors that go into it, but I really think that you shouldn't charge less than $30 an hour. Just kind of as a good starting point. 18K? What? Uni? Really? So I mean, there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of inequality when it comes to pay in the game industry. But then, I mean, you gotta factor in, you know, is it a startup game company? Um, Dude, 18K? There's no way, dude. Well, of course, I live in California, so that's much different here. But I mean, it's a highly skilled, job that you're doing. So, um, you know, I think if you take minimum wage or whatever, I think it does an injustice to not only you but the entire industry. Not in my experience, uni. Of course, it's all different too. Sometimes startups that have the actual funding are able to pay more. Um, Sometimes larger corporations, larger game studios, have more of a limit on what they can spend, so they can't pay enough. But they can also pay more because they have the actual funding. You know what I mean? It really depends. Yeah, it depends on a ton of factors. I would say in California, in the Bay Area, I wouldn't do it for anything less than 50 a year. No way. No less than that. Yeah, that's why all the ramen noodles. I mean, yeah, like it's like right now we're talking about dollars when it's like the amount of the value of the dollar in the Bay Area is not the same as the value of the dollar in like Champaign, Illinois, or Chicago. You coming to stay with me? Dude, you don't want to, man. You know what it costs to live out here? Dude, it's nuts, bro. It's nuts. Um, yeah. Presently, I'm in San Diego, working at Sony. So it's not quite as expensive as the Bay Area, but you're looking like, all right. So like you end up saying, the cost of living is really kind of tied to where real estate lies. Dude, the real estate in the Bay Area is like it's insane. I live in South San Jose, which is like as far from San Francisco as you can get. I live in like a little suburb. There's like a three-bedroom house, like a regular like 1,200 square foot backyard. Small little 1,200 square foot three-bedroom house with a garage, and the same one, very similar, across the street, sold for $1 million. 1 million. Like what? 1 million. 1,200 square feet. Look at you with the Central Illinois knowledge. Yeah, I have family that actually lives in Champaign. Uh, But California is completely different all over the place as well. You're not like if you're in Sacramento area, you're in the Central Valley. You're not going to be paying as much as if you're in the Bay Area. Huge, huge difference there. Yeah, dude, it's like it's insane. Like so, I worked at Apple. My wife worked at Stanford as a nurse, and we couldn't afford a house. Like it's crazy. Yeah, they have started doing the whole plastic bag thing. They have started doing that. Now, granted, there's some really cool things about. I don't want to get into politics or anything, but I will say that California and the weather here, uh, it's beautiful. My God, just beautiful. And everybody else is kind of sitting around um, in snow. You know, it's like 70 degrees here. Yeah, it's nuts. The prices over here are just it's crazy. Yeah, it. So what what I always tell people is that it's it's amazing moving out of California because the amount of money that you're making in California, you're very wealthy in most other places in the United States, but it is very very difficult to move into California. If you're making wages, like somebody in the Midwest, you're like, wait, how much am I paying now for living? What? What is this? Yeah, see, and we don't have to deal with all the snow or anything. It fluctuates between mid 50s on its coldest to like 95 most of the time. That's the bell curve. Maybe 100 every once in a while, a couple times a year. That's about it. Yeah, in the middle of winter, you can sit outside and just have a nice lemonade. To make the wet, no humidity. Gotta love that. Yeah, I mean, just bring your own bags. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, come on, come on. There's worse things to deal with in the world. But yeah, we all California is it's statewide now. I think. Yeah, where else can you go for the beach and Christmas? Yeah, and then go right up to Reno or Tahoe for snow. You got you got both of them. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Oh, Humboldt. I mean, the whole Grass Valley area and everything up there. It's freaking beautiful, man. Well, that's one thing Cali's got is beauty. Oh man, Highway One. Mm mm mm. Yeah, those ones around Fresno, um, not really as much snow, but you can still do some damage. Definitely not as gun friendly as a Texas. It definitely has its perks though. Mostly the weather. The smog rules suck, though. Americans and their guns, yeah, right? Yeah, California's got some pretty big fires and stuff going on right now. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, man? Well, you can draw pencils. Whoa. There we go. Yeah, I don't really do well in the heat either. Me and the heat we don't get along. I don't think I could ever live on the East Coast of the U.S. Too much humidity. Way too much humidity. Oh, Bluxley, you're in Scotland? Scotland. Nice. Alright, let's see if we can just get a little bit of integration here going on. Doing good, Andrew. Doing good, bud. Nothing too crazy for like this pull stuff here. Just enough to kind of get the idea. Yeah, the Central Valley, man, is no joke here in California. I actually grew up in Sacramento, um, and man, dude, that heat factor is just, poof, it will melt your face right off, right off, your face off. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do. Oh, Vertigo, you grew up in Sacramento too? Where in Sacramento did you grow up? Yeah, Florida is tough. Yeah, don't ever go outside in Florida. Just don't ever go outside. It's easy. Yeah, AC on 24/7. Yeah, absolutely. The actually one of the main problems with the Bay Area is that not every place has AC. Actually, it's a it's actually a luxury to have AC in in um, in the Bay Area. Yep, lived in all three of those places. I grew up in North Islands. In the ghetto. In the ghetto. But yeah, I grew up in North Highlands. Let's see what else. I live pretty much everywhere from Citrus Heights to Rancho Cambodia to Rockland to Roseville, Citrus Heights, uh, all pretty much everywhere. Elk Grove, um, Carmichael, Fair Oaks, pretty much all over the place. Antelope. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start working on a little bit more shape and form to these leather pieces. Nothing too crazy, just kind of want to start beating up some of the edges and kind of making them a little less boxy. Fair Oaks and Carmichael's nice. Yeah. One of my first restaurant jobs was that Elephant Bar on Sunrise. Darkin used to spend a lot of time outside in Florida. No AC? You're crazy. You're crazy, Darkin. You crazy, bang. Yeah, I actually, so my first time experiencing East Coast style um weather was actually my first trip to Jamaica. Actually, um, my brother and I go out and hang out with a friend that lives just outside of Kingston. So we go and just kind of hang out in the bush, hang out with a Rasta. Um, but like the first trip, um, I didn't really know what East Coast humidity was like. So like I got to the airport in Miami. I think it was Miami. Yeah, it was Miami. And I was like, even in the airport, I was like, what the crap is this? It's like nasty and muggy in the airport. What the hell? What the hell are you guys doing? And I was like, but it's not that bad. You know, we got AC, whatever. And then I took my flight into Kingston, and in Kingston, um, like you don't, or at least the part that I was in, there was no like little jet bridge from the airplane to the terminal. Like you got off on the tarmac and you walked into the terminal. So my first like real air that I experienced was getting to the. Let me turn out topological here. Getting to the door of the plane, about to walk off the plane, and that just wall of nastiness just hit me in the face, and I was like, "What? What is this? Nope, nope. How the fuck do people live in this, man? It's crazy, crazy." But then I couldn't really complain because I was in Jamaica, you know? It's like one of those things where you just like, you just kind of go, well, I'm in Jamaica. Can't really say anything. I got some family out in Georgia too. They've been getting a lot of rain up in Georgia. Tons. In Minneapolis? How did that? Oh, I didn't move that guy, that's why. Alright, so we gotta move this dude. So I'm just gonna isolate this guy by using the move tool, hit control. And then that'll isolate this guy because he's a different polygroup. Super helpful. And then let's make sure that symmetry's on. There we go. Okay, now let's start beating this guy up. Fargo, yep. I was actually born in North Dakota. Lived in a little, grew up in a, well, I wouldn't say grew up. It's been like 3 or 4 years. In a little town called Souris. Born in November in North Dakota. Yeah, North Dakota, you know. Yeah, darn tootin'. Oh, you mind if I sit down here? I'm carrying quite a load. That was a pretty bland state. So I tell people, I'm like, to get a tangible idea of how flat North Dakota is, what you do is you go out into the field and you find like a little boulder or something, you know, just something to just step up on, you know, maybe like a milk crate or something, or maybe a little mound or a little boulder, and you get up onto that, and you look off into the distance. You look really, 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 really closely, and like if you look close enough, you see a little black speck on the horizon, and it's the back of your own head. That's how flat North Dakota is. There ain't nothing out there but fields. Alright. I'm just going to kind of start beating up this guy a little bit. Belly, you been out to North Dakota? North Dakota. Yeah. Yeah, eh? Take it easy there, eh? Holy crap, it's 8 o'clock already. Oh, you're in Fargo right now. Nice. So there's like, so I grew up in this really, really small town called Souris. Check this. The population was, at the time, 120 people. 120 people. Now, when you say, you came from a small town, right? That's a small town. You can make. I don't even think you can call it a town. Like the grocery store was the gas station, um, the drugstore. It was pretty much everything. Groceries. What if you use the hardest part of modeling? For me, it's just starting. Um, yeah, it's a good question. I've learned to find a lot of fun in each parts of the modeling process. For instance, like the part that I'm working on now, like the block out, it's fun. I mean, I think the challenge of being able to just get the overall look and feel of something like right out of the gate, just with like basic blockouts. Um, to me, this is blockout phase. Um, Anything before tertiary detail for me is kind of still in that blockout phase. Um, so if you can nail the proportions and the overall look and feel in the blockout stage, like then it's just making everything super nice and tight and shiny. Um, so it's the early stages where you really define the overall feel of the piece, right? And to me, I've learned to really appreciate that and like look at that as a really awesome challenge. I'd say probably the most fun part for me is all the tertiary detail. Is just getting in and just doing all the fun details and stuff. For me, that's fun. Um, I hate retopo. Really, I really don't like retopo. Yeah, to me, this is still in the blackout phase. Because you really just, like, for blackout, you're really just kind of defining the forms, right? And making sure everything's going to have the right proportions and they're in the right places. Like you're keeping everything still relatively low poly. Nothing's too crazy. Um, so yeah, this is still I to me I consider this still blockout. But yeah, retopo. Darken, yes, it did. Actually, my dad was the pastor of the church. That's what actually took us out there. Okay, so final thoughts. We got to start wrapping this up for the day here. Um, I was gonna try to get to this belt thing, but ugh, I have to do that again later. So we got this nice and blocked out. Got those ones all done. Um, yeah, it was pretty much a small village. Worked on the hat a little bit, blocked in some hair, started getting a little bit more secondary forms to some of the belt areas, a little bit of integration into the chest piece here. Um, yeah, we're getting close to tertiary details. I think some of the other things that really stand out are I need to handle how I'm going to do this seam separation here, right? So like this is going to be two different materials, so I need to make sure that there's going to be some kind of separation here. I need to figure out how I'm going to handle that pretty much, and then just repeat however I'm going to handle that throughout pretty much the rest of all these pieces here, right? So I got to do that. I want to do a little bit more secondary detail to this and here, I guess. Maybe just not too much. I got to finish up this little string part. And then I think we're ready to get into all the awesome little details. So not too much left. Maybe like a knot for the rope, kind of coming down to mimic this a little bit. Belt buckle, that kind of thing. But we're really close to getting being done with the blockout secondary phase. So yeah, exciting times. So the next phase for the tertiary phase. Oh, holy crap! Excuse me, guys. I haven't had my coffee yet. Probably will be deciding on what I want to sculpt in versus what I want to rely on the actual materials for. So, as of right now, a lot of the stuff that where I'll stop is mainly on like small little folds and stuff. This type of stuff. Like the stuff that you can't necessarily do very easily in substance, right? So like some of these like secondary minor folds and those types of things. So I'll get those kind of going. Maybe I'll do like a little bit more like crumpling up here or something, that kind of stuff. A little bit more seam integration, so that the materials can drive off of those normal bakes. So yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Had some fun times. I will be back on my personal channel probably tomorrow or this weekend sometime. So give me a follow over there, and set your notifications on, and you'll get notified. Don't forget to follow the Pixelogic channel here on Twitch. Awesome guys. I think Timothy Rapp is coming up later today. Check him out if you are interested in trying out ZBrush. There's a 45-day trial if you're not ready to purchase yet, but ZBrush was one of the very first softwares that I purchased when I started. I paid $800 for it, and it's been worth every single penny, many times over. If you're not ready to jump in yet, there is a smaller version called ZBrush Core, which is most of the ZBrush stuff minus some other like higher tier end stuff. Thanks, Bluxby. That's a little bit cheaper. But yeah, so give it a try. If you guys are interested in learning more, there is zclassroom.com. Go check that out. I actually learned a lot of stuff there when I was in my young ZBrush days. So yeah, check out zclassroom. Also, give a shout out to Michael Pavlovich. He is another streamer here on Pixelogic, but he has a lot of great tutorials specifically for 4R8, but he does awesome teacher. So check out Michael Pavlovich. He's got a YouTube channel. You can check him out. Yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys learned some stuff. But most of all, I hope you're inspired. Go do your own stuff. Go do some cool stuff. Do it. All right, guys. I'll take you soon. Hasta later. Peace out.